The Gentle Art of Judo. Learn it and tumble and fight to your heart's content. By Anonymous. From the New York Times, April 6, 1905. To judge by the exhibition of Judo, which is the 33rd degree of Jiu-Jitsu, given by Professor Tsunejiro Tomita at the Gymnasium at 1947 Broadway yesterday afternoon, there are no terrors attached to meeting a big man with a club at 3 in the morning, and nothing to be afraid of in tumbling out of a window or getting mixed up in an automobile smash. All you have to do with the big man with the club at 3 a.m. is to treat him to the judo clutch. Professor Tomita gave the exhibition yesterday for the benefit of the press. He said in a preliminary address that an erroneous impression existed in this country as to jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, he said, is an almost extinct art and a savage one that were better extinct. The real art of self-defense is judo. Judo means gentle art, but although an exhibition of it is like the tackling of a mad bull in a china shop, the professor says that it is really all that its name implies. Jiu-jitsu, said the professor, was developed 350 years ago at a time when there was tribal warfare in Japan. Then a man with a long sword and a man with no sword would meet in the streets, and out of their undying hatred for one another, tribally speaking, it became necessary for the man with no sword to learn a few tricks for dislocating the joints of his enemy, choking him, and rendering him unconscious, etc. The professor said that the first lesson to be learned in judo was how to fall soft. He illustrated this by twirling one of his assistants in the air and throwing him on the mat with a crash. "It is nothing," said Professor Tomita. "It seems very terrible, but he feels nothing, for he falls with all his limbs and muscles in position." In order to convince the reporters that there was really no danger of a judo expert hurting himself by a fall, one of the professor's assistants related a story of his grandfather who taught jiu-jitsu and judo. The grandfather fell from a piazza on the second story of a Japanese house and landed on a pile of rocks. The grandfather was only annoyed because he had soiled his kimono. The reporters were curious to know what Professor Tomita would do if an uppercut came along, or a fist aspiring to the solar plexus. The professor said he hated to show the reporters, but calling one of his assistants, he asked him to deliver an uppercut, also to imitate that big man with the club at 3 a.m. The result was the same in both cases. A sibilant hiss, a whirl of solid bodies, a thud, then a polite, "Pardon me," in Japanese. End of The Gentle Art of Judo. Learn it and tumble and fight to your heart's content.